Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and I'm doing a mostly, or I think a full face of new makeup today. Specifically, I'm focusing on the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer because I picked this up during the Sephora Spring Savings event and it's really surprised me, which we'll get into. I also have a couple of other things, my little haul from the Sephora Spring Savings event, the new Gucci liquid lipstick, and a few other things that I've received in PR. So let's just get right into it. So I like a lot of products from Rare Beauty, but I wasn't originally planning on picking up this tinted moisturizer because I didn't have very good luck in finding a shade for me in their foundation release when they first launched, I think in 2020. I remember picking up a couple of different shades, and while I appreciated the extensive shade range with a variety of undertones, I think they've done a great job with that from the outset. I found all of their undertones to be very peachy on me. And I do have kind of a particular skin tone. I'm a light medium with a neutral golden / a little bit of olive undertone. And that fluctuates throughout the year because of my skin tone. I tan really, really easily and I get about a full shade, even more deeper in the summer. That's all to say, a lot of Western makeup companies, I think when they're formulating light medium shades, they're formulating them with white skin in mind rather than Asian lighter skin tones. And I know a lot of Asian and East Asian people of a similar skin tone who have issues with finding our shade in Western cosmetics shade ranges, even though we are a light medium skin tone because of the undertones, which is why I was skeptical about the tinted moisturizer. But you know, there's something about Rare Beauty that's really appealing. I think it is one of those celebrity brands that has reach beyond the celebrity founder. I think they're a serious beauty company in that they're really well formulated, they're really well thought out. There is a lot of consideration about the quality of the products. And for me, one of the most appealing things as a consumer as well as a content creator is their price point. They're kind of in that mid-tier Sephora range that Sephora seems to really be prioritizing, in the $20 to $30 price range, some lower, some a little bit higher. So the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 20 sunscreen has SPF 20 with chemical and physical filters. It's homosalate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide. So I wanted to try this because I thought the price point was really great. I thought it could be a helpful review for a lot of people. And it was that and more. So I picked out the shade 30N online. I looked at the swatches and it looked promising because the swatch had a neutral golden undertone. It's described as a medium neutral golden. The description of this product is that it's a flexible tinted moisturizer that immediately blurs skin with glowy, light to medium coverage, all while hydrating and protecting from the sun. It's only SPF 20, so I would not rely on this for your primary SPF coverage. Makeup with SPF is only ever something extra, like additional coverage on top of your primary sun protection. This also comes in a plastic squeezy tube that has this little divot, so it looks like that. And it makes gripping the product really easy. It also makes unscrewing the product really easy, and it comes in a little squeezy tube like this, which I think is really convenient. And the product also comes with an expiration date. So mine is set to expire October 2023. That's something we don't see a lot in Western makeup. I see it a lot more in K-beauty and Asian beauty in general, but I'm really happy that they included that, especially with a product with SPF because that SPF does degrade over time. So I've used this a few different times and I really like it. I'm going to apply half of my face with fingers and half of my face with a brush, just so you can see the difference in coverage and application. Show you the texture. It's a light fluid texture, but it's not super runny the way that MAC Face and Body is, or the way that the Dior Backstage is, just other squeezy tube foundations. So I'm just going to dab this around and rub it in with my fingers. So I have combo oily skin. I'm definitely getting oilier as the weather gets warmer. My primary concern with this was that it would be too dewy. It's definitely a luminous, like radiant finish, but I was really surprised that it has these film forming qualities. So what I mean by that is that as you rub it into the skin, you can start to feel it kind of, it's not setting exactly, but it starts to get a little bit grippy. And it's very similar to the way MAC Face and Body feels. You can rub it in with your fingers and you actually start to feel it get tackier on the skin. And that actually helps with longevity. It helps the product grip onto the skin and it prevents it from sliding around. And it's not tight. It's not something you can feel except by touch. And it sort of sets in place. This also has a slightly pore blurring quality. It's similar to the way the Fenty Eavesdrop is. I think Fenty is higher in coverage for sure and more of a natural finish, whereas this one is for sure radiant, but they do have a similar technology in them. So this is one sheer layer of the tinted moisturizer. You can see it doesn't cancel out pigmentation. It hasn't completely blanked out my face. My skin very much looks like skin and it feels like skin to touch, but it just kind of blurred over texture, over pores, and evened out a bit of redness. I'm going to apply about the same amount, just dotting it around my face on the left side, and this time I'm going to use a brush to blend it out, just so you can see the difference. It applies beautifully with both brush and fingers. So this side is fingers, this side is the brush. The only way I didn't love this applied was with a beauty blender or a sponge. I just find that with a formula like this, it's nice to have the smoothing quality of a brush or fingers, but that's just my personal preference. I have worn this several times, so I can tell you now that it's not going to last on my oily skin more than 6 to 8 hours. And that's about what I would expect from a tinted moisturizer. I'm not expecting all day wear from something like this, but it still lasted longer than I expected, even though I got shiny throughout the day because of that tacky gripping quality. In terms of shade range, I do think Rare Beauty base products are still running a little bit peachy generally. Like this is a 30 neutral undertone, and it still has a touch of peachiness, a touch of warmth. Definitely better than the foundation shade range, but still something that I'm noticing a little bit on my skin if I'm nitpicking. For concealer, I have a new concealer that I've had for a little bit, but I haven't tested yet. This is the Trinny London BFF Serum Eye Concealer. So it comes in a squeezy tube, and it is almost like an eye cream in that it has this metal applicator. So this is kind of like a skincare makeup hybrid product. It says, our tinted serum specifically designed for the under eye area. Peptides, vitamin C, and hyaluronic acid help to deliver hydration and minimize the appearance of dark circles. So I have the shade Rihanna, and I am just going to squeeze out a little bit. I'm going to tap it under the eye. Ooh, that's actually a lot. Maybe, I don't know. The applicator is really cooling, and then I'm just going to blend it out with fingers. Ooh, that's really creamy. It's definitely a serum-y consistency. It has the kind of spreadability and slightly fluid quality of a serum. It's giving me a light medium, actually like a medium coverage. And that shade is working out really nicely for me. I think that's a really nice, like light golden undertone. And it's very dewy and light reflective. You can probably see the light bouncing off. I'm really into the way that this feels around the eye. It definitely has that skincare kind of quality. That is really pretty. I think if you are a makeup minimalist or you don't wear a lot of makeup and you want something for a little bit of coverage or for like low makeup days, this is a great option because it's not going to look funny if you apply this on its own, and it also feels really comfortable and hydrating around the eye. I am going to spot conceal a little bit with my NARS Soft Matte Concealer, and I'm going to powder just because I'm oily combo and I need that, and I'll be right back. Next, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Peachgasm Beauty Light Wand, and this is not a new product, but it's new to me. I picked it up during the Sephora Spring Savings event because it was finally in stock after not being in stock for a very long time. It's one of those things that it's not a new product, but it's had a resurgence because it's gone viral on TikTok, and I have mixed feelings because it's one of these squeezy tubes that has the sponge applicator, and I don't love the sponge applicator concept, but I understand why it's functional for the consumer. So basically you can twist the mechanism on and off that stops the flow of product from coming off, so it doesn't just like squirt out all over the place as you are traveling with it or moving it around or whatever. So you squeeze it on and off, so when it's open you can kind of squeeze the product out of the top. So I'm going to apply this directly onto the cheeks like this, and I have used this a couple of times, and I'm going to kind of apply it further back on the cheek, but also a little bit on top of the cheekbone where I might apply blush. So you can see there's that peachy tint, and I'm just going to tap it out with a finger, which I think is probably the best way to apply this. So this obviously gives you a serious glow. I would even say it's a touch metallic, not in any kind of like chunky or glittery or obvious way, but it gives you like noticeable glow for sure. But I just thought this shade was perfect for spring. It definitely brings a little bit of life to the face, and it's the kind of thing that you can wear as like your only cheek product because it gives you a little bit of color and a lot of glow. I think it's gone viral because it has this experiential quality to it of the sponge, of twisting up the product, of seeing it come out of the sponge, the twisty application, and it kind of invites content creation with the product, if you know what I mean. It is a pretty unique application experience, as well as being a beautiful product. So I think that's kind of the recipe for why this has gone viral, but you won't be disappointed if you get it. I think it is a really beautiful product, and I'm really happy that they've come out with deeper shade options in this, because for a while there was just one highlighter shade, I think, and now there are several with blushy tints and with champagne tints, so I'm really happy to see that shade expansion. For the rest of the makeup, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, but I actually do have a new cream eyeshadow, also from Trinity London. This is their Eye to Eye formula in the shade Queen, which is a bronzy cream shadow. It has almost a slightly pink shift. I think you can see it at that angle. So I primed my eyes and I powdered them. I powdered the primer, which I always do if I'm going to wear a cream eyeshadow. For me, because I have oily lids, I just need that powdered base for longevity. This formula comes in so many shades, from a range of neutrals to jewel tones to even some mattes and like duochromes. I'm really impressed by that. For me, this is going to be a beautiful like one and done shade. So I'm just going to apply it with fingers, I think. On the skin, I think that pinkiness is much more pronounced. I'm just going to go in with fingers and blend this out. This is going to be a very like haphazard, easy eyeshadow look. It's blending out with ease. You can definitely see the shimmer on the eye and on the skin much more so than you can in the pan. But again, they're really refined. They're not chunky at all. You could even take a fluffy brush and blend out the edges. This formula definitely shears out on the eye, which I like. I think it makes it very easy to wear, very wearable, very daytime appropriate. I am going to build up a little bit of depth at the base of the lashes. You can really see on the eyes how warm of a shade this is because it has that gold shimmer. It gives it a very warm bronzy flash. I hope that pink shift is coming through. It's not exactly duochrome. It just has micro glitters that are almost like a peachy pink that twinkle in person. I'm moving on to mascara, and I have something very fancy. It's the Tom Ford Extreme Mascara, which I have never tried. I received this in PR via Octoly, and I have been curious about this. It has the longest wand. So it looks like this. It's a bristle wand. It's kind of tapered, lots of separation, but like it's longer than the length of my eye, which will be interesting. I'm going to prime my lashes. I always do with my Peri Para Ink Mascara Fixer just to help with curl because I always need that. Of course, the tube is extremely weighty and beautiful. It's that like chocolatey Tom Ford packaging. And let's see how this goes. So even though this brush is really long, it's tapered, so I can get into the inner corner pretty easily. And I like that the wand has nice separation. I don't feel like I'm picking up a ton of product at once, and I'm able to kind of brush it through the lashes. It's giving me really good length and volume as well. Not super volumizing, but it looks nice. I don't know if I don't know. I was expecting with the Extreme Lash title that it would give me these like insane, super voluminous lashes the way that the Bare Minerals, the Maximist did. That's like the most recent super voluminous mascara I can think of. But despite it not being so extreme, I actually kind of like that. I feel like really intense volumizing mascaras can potentially weigh my lashes down throughout the day. So that's the mascara done. It definitely gave me some definition, some length, some volume, not too much of either one of those things. I'll see how it wears throughout the day, and with all the makeup, I will leave a pinned comment to let you know how it wore. So I'm going to move on to brows, and I have the Half Caked brow collection. It's called the Get Fluffed Brow Collection. Half Caked is an indie makeup brand. Their tubing mascara is one of my favorites. So they sent these over to me about a month ago. I haven't had a chance to try until recently. So the collection looks like this. It's definitely an ode to like marshmallow fluff. The brow gels look like this. And they also sent over their brow definer, which looks like this, and it has that kind of triangle shape for a brow pencil. So I don't love the branding on this. I find it to be a little bit childish, and overall that's the vibe I get from Half Caked, but the brow gel is really, really good, and the mascara is really, really good. And so I'm finding that with Half Caked, I wish that their branding were a little bit sleeker, a little bit more grown up, because the makeup itself actually is very, very good. And I don't think that's reflected in the packaging or the branding, to me anyway. And maybe that's just that I'm outside of the demographic, the target demographic. But as someone who's really liking their makeup, I wish it were a little bit more grown. So the brow gel is kind of like a sculpting brow gel. They sent over a clear one and then the shade 4.0, which is basically like a cool toned soft black. I wish I had this in a little bit lighter of a shade, maybe like a soft cool toned brown, but I'm going to show you the cool black 4.0 shade just so you can see how it looks. It has a teeny tiny spoolie, but the teeny tiny spoolie actually does work well to not only comb through the brow hairs, but also create definition. And most importantly, it actually creates hold for me. I also like that the formula is not too wet. It has a bit of body. It's not quite a pomade, but it's a gel with a slightly sculpting quality to it. So you can see how much definition this shade gave me. That's kind of why I would like a lighter shade, just so it's not as harsh. But I still really like the formula, and I just need to use this with a little bit of a lighter hand because it's a deeper shade. So this is letting me kind of groom my brows. It's not a laminated brow by any means, but it gives me a slight sculpting quality. So that is just the brow gel. You can see it gave me a very bold look. I am going to add in some hair-like strokes with the brow definer. It's not my favorite shape. I think it's really easy to get a little bit blocky with any kind of brow pencil that's not like a micro tip, a micro pencil, but we'll make it work. So that's the brows done. They're definitely bold, and I think if you're a brow minimalist and you just want something with hold and tint and a little bit of definition, like real hair-like definition, the brow gel is what I would go for. And personally, I like that more than the brow definer. But overall, the shade curation is great. The brow definer formula is great. It's just a matter of taste in terms of what kind of brow product you like. Lastly, I have the final thing that I picked up in my Sephora haul, which is the Gucci Liquid Lip. This is a new release. It just came out and I had to try it. I mean, look how beautiful it is. So it's a matte liquid lip stain. It's very weighty. It has that vintage Gucci lettering with the fluted cap, and this is just stunning. It's a work of art. So this is described as a transformative liquid lip color that dries down to a transfer-proof matte finish once applied. I've worn this quite a few times already. I think I talked about it in my last vlog. It is definitely not a traditional liquid matte lipstick. I don't even like liquid lipsticks. To me, this is more of a lip stain. It's very similar to like a Velvet Blur formula. So if you've tried any of the K-Beauty Velvet Blur formulas or the MAC Powder Kiss formula, that one's a little bit more silicone-y, or the YSL Tatouage Couture lip stains. It's much more like that. It's super thin and it has a beautiful kind of powdery look. Not a powdery feel, but a powdery look. So this is a swatch of it. I got the shade They Met in Argentina, which I actually have in the matte lipstick formula, but I think that one is expired. It's starting to look a little bit bumpy on the side, and I love the shade, but I like the idea of a more flexible formula that I can kind of pat out on the lips as a stain, or I can build up to full opacity if I'd like. This shade is just so happy. It's like a really bright rosewood, and I've been loving it. This does have the Gucci scent. It's very floral and it's noticeable, but I do find that it fades quickly. But in terms of like strength of scent, it's on the higher side. So I've been liking applying it just kind of in the center of the lip and then blurring out the edges. It has this really soft touch feel, and it doesn't really feel like anything on the lips. It's very weightless. So like that's one sheer layer. I might build it up a little bit. And then I've got a little Esam lip brush. This is the W19, and I'm just going to use it to blur the lip line. I like this as a kind of modern way of wearing a matte lip without looking like it's 2014 and we all got ColourPop liquid lipsticks that are shriveling up our lips. I think it's especially nice in brighter colors that feel a little bit more risky to wear because of potential smearing or smudging or bleeding. I like a matte lip stain formula in a shade like this because I trust that it's not going to move around the lips. I think this would also be beautiful in a red lip if you're into that. So that's everything for today. Obviously, the star of the show was the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. You can see it's still wearing nicely. It's still luminous, but it's not breaking up on my face. I really like the Trini London Concealer. I can see this working for a lot of people, especially makeup minimalists, people on the go, people who are wearing a light face of makeup for work or on the weekend, whatever. It's very hydrating and easy to wear. The Trinny London Cream Eyeshadow, I'm really happy with the formula. I love how thin it is and blendable. I'm curious how it will wear throughout the day, so I will leave a pinned comment letting you know how everything wore throughout the day, but really happy with that, an easy one and done cream eyeshadow formula. The Light Wonder Wand is really fun. It's not something you need to have if you have other liquid highlighters, but I do really like the shade Peachgasm, and I can see myself wearing it a lot in the spring and summer. As for the half-caked brow products, I can already tell you that the brow gels will have longevity in terms of use in my collection. The brow definer, probably not because it's not a good product, just because it's not the kind of product I turn to a lot for my brow routine, but all of these are great, honestly, and I would recommend them for sure. Also, I forgot to mention how affordable Half Caked is. Their brow gels are $9 and these brow definers are $10. So that's even better than some drugstore prices. I think for the quality of products you're getting, they're really, really great value. And for the Trinny London products, the BFF Eye Serum is $35. So it's a little bit more expensive. It's got that skincare element to it. And the cream eyeshadows are $24. The Tom Ford mascara is nice to have. It performed really well in application. I'll let you know how it wears throughout the day. It's $45. You do not need to spend $45 on a good mascara. I mean, there's a reason why I have not tried Tom Ford mascaras until this point, and I'm trying this because I received it in PR because it's very high end, and generally if I'm spending that much money, it's going to other places in my makeup routine, but it did perform well, and I like the way my lashes look. So we'll see how it wears throughout the day. And lastly, the Gucci Liquid Lip is already such a hit. I love it so much. I'm really happy I have this shade in this formula, and I'm going to be wearing it all spring and summer. So that's everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.